My name is Evie Smith, and I'm an Employee Family Assistance Counselor here at the University of Vermont Medical Center. I'm licensed as a mental health counselor here in Vermont, and I've been working for many years sharing ideas around primarily self-care and daily renewal strategies for energy management and a balanced lifestyle. So today I want to share with you a few foundational ideas along with a couple of experientials around how we can care for ourselves both at work and at home, which is what I am employed doing here for employees here at the University of Vermont Medical Center. So basically, I try to emphasize the importance of waking up to the quality of self-care that we are experiencing for ourselves. And in so doing, when we pay attention to our self-care, we can better manage our energy, our stress, and our overall health and well-being. So I'm going to really focus on principles of energy management, and these involve the whole person. At any given time, we take ourselves, our whole self, with us to work, and we bring our whole self back home. And so we want to be able each day to be our best self, and there's some ways to do that. I'd like to emphasize the physical, the mental, and the social aspects of how we do this for ourselves. If you really think about it, our whole self is a lot like a battery that needs regular recharging. So how we choose to recharge our body, our mind, and our spirit can have either a negative or a positive effect on our energy and health. The research suggests that humans need to recharge every 90 to 120 minutes. So basically, we can build resilience by recharging ourselves. We can build this resilience to the stress of life by developing regular routines. And this is something I really like to emphasize, is the regular routine of self-care of all these parts of our whole self. So the body, let's just take the body. The body is enlivened through balanced nutrition, balanced movement, or exercise, a balanced amount of recuperation, which has three subparts. Resting the body. So if we sit at a desk all day long, it's very important to get up and stretch and move around to recharge the energy. If we're on our feet all day, it's important to have rest periods where we can sit and do other stretches to relax the body posture again. The second subpart of recuperation is actually sleep itself. And as adults, it is suggested that we need a minimum of 8 hours of sleep at least. So that's important to keep in mind if we can get regular routines of sleep. And then the third subpart is called recreation or fun. And as adults, the fun factor can often go on the back burner. So I really try to emphasize the importance of having more fun in our lives, even in small, simple ways. And I'll talk a little more about that as we go. And then as far as the mind, I'd like to just suggest that the mind is actually motivated by our thoughts and our emotions or feelings. And then the social or relational part of ourselves is activated by our actions, our choices, and the behaviors that we engage in on a regular, habitual basis. So in a sense, we have to be a really good gatekeeper of the whole, all three parts of ourselves, and make healthy, balanced choices. How people do that is certainly an individual choice, but the parts of the whole person inform each other part. This is another important point to keep in mind. The body is a lot like a barometer that gives us a readout on the interior atmosphere of our thoughts and feelings. And these are all based on our choices and our actions and deeds that we perform on a daily basis. So we can actually practice tuning into our physical sensations, our thoughts and our emotions, and our connections in the world through something called mindfulness, which is a popular idea these days, but it actually has ancient origins. But what does mindfulness mean? Very simply, it means being more aware in the present moment. So what I mean by this is to practice being aware while we're eating, while we're stretching, while we're walking, or while we're talking and connecting to people, both at home and in the workplace and out into the community. And really allowing ourselves to enjoy each moment more fully. This is a foundation to greater happiness. and happiness and health go hand in hand. So one method of staying cool, calm, and collected during stressful situations involves learning to intentionally activate what's called the relaxation response. What is the relaxation response and how do we activate it? There's actually 4 steps that open the doorway to relaxation. One is a comfortable posture or position. Number 2 is having a quiet environment. Number 3 would be to have an open and receptive attitude. And the 4th factor is having something to focus on, such as your breathing. So, when we talk about breathing, and I teach people how to practice this, I try to start with a simple approach, which is simply to have people tune into their breathing and notice or intentionally breathe more slowly, more deeply, and more rhythmically. So what I'm really describing by doing that kind of breathing is really a passive approach to recharging our energy. It's in the taking of deep breaths. If we are fatigued and we take a few deep breaths, it can actually recharge and re-energize us. If our mind is scattered and stressed and we take a few deep breaths, it actually can help focus our attention and put us into a more relaxed, less anxious state. So there's a passive approach to recharging our energy, and there's also an active approach. So let's say we want to revitalize our energy at work. If we feel fatigued, we can actually take a stretch, and in conjunction with that stretch, add in the breathing. So I'll demonstrate. This is called the one breath meditation, and basically the idea is to bend forward and exhale at the waist. You're going to bend forward at the waist. I'll demonstrate it after I describe it. Exhaling as you do to expel toxic air, and then upon coming back up, you can either do this sitting or standing. You'll come up and just open your whole self up as you're taking in a big inhale of life energy into the body. So it kind of goes like this. You'll start off by exhaling the air and bending forward. Inhaling through the nose 3 times. And one more. And that can actually recharge and re-energize us. It's a combination of a stretch and deep breathing. Another way to actually energize is to take some hydration in, and I'm going to do that right now for a moment. I like to practice what I teach. Okay. So this is really all about revitalization and energy renewal. And I just want to sort of begin to wrap up by suggesting that when you do this type of deep breathing and stretching together, it actually can help release muscle tension. I have one other exercise I'll share with folks because I do know that we sit at computers a lot these days, and there's this stress triangle. The head, neck, and shoulder area is where a lot of people feel tension. So what you can do is just square your body off, very gradually turn your head to the left, and get a baseline reading on the wall of about how far you can go comfortably with your range of motion. Bring your head back to the center. Now, as you turn your head to the left again to that baseline, take your right arm, bring it up to the trapezius muscle, and just give yourself little circular massage motions in that muscle as deeply as you can, while you're also taking in some nice breaths, not holding the breath. And just gently release and relax, bring your head back to center. And now, as you turn your head to the left again, you should notice that your range of motion has increased quite a bit, actually, in some cases, quite noticeably. Head back to center. How was that for folks? Okay, very good. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Excuse me. So turn your head to the right. Get a baseline reading on the wall as to where you can comfortably turn with that range of motion. Okay, gently and slowly bring the head back to center. And now, as you turn to the right again, take your left arm and bring it up and just start giving yourself some massages in that little area on the trapezius muscle. Circular motions, breathing nice and easy. It doesn't really take much to just change this up and release that tension. Okay, and gently release and relax, head back to center. And now you can just slowly double check that. Turn your head to the right again, and you should be able to go noticeably further with that range of motion. Head back to center. Assess how that was for yourself. All right, well, thanks for joining me in that. So there's many ways to care for yourself, and it is really unique to each individual. So I encourage you to treat your whole self well every day. And in closing, I offer this quote by Paramahansa Yogananda, who said, "When we have lost our wealth, we have lost a little. When we have lost our health, we have lost something of greater measure. But when we have lost our peace of mind, we have lost the greatest treasure." Thanks for your attention. Have a great day.